We're on page 14 of Module 7, Lesson 5. We have 4 problems left to do. So we had just begun problem E, -1 plus 1, 0, -1 minus -3, which is -1 plus 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then we showed on the calculator that 0 divided by anything is 0. So that makes this what kind of line? Zero fun. So isn't this a horizontal line? And remember how horizontal lines only go through the y-axis? So if they only go through the y-axis, we write y equals, we go up here and go, oh look, the y's are the same. And that's our answer. Could you have put it into the point slope form? Absolutely. Some students do because they don't realize it's a horizontal line. So what you would have done is you would have went to y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And you would have said, I guess I'll call this one x1 and y1. And you would have went y minus -1 equals 0 times x minus -1. And then you would change those double negatives both to a positive, distribute. So y plus 1 equals 0, right? Because 0 times x is 0, plus 0 times 1 is 0. And then we need to solve for y, and what do you know? Same answer as we got using the shortcut. So if you recognize that it's a horizontal line, because every time the slope's 0, it has to be horizontal. Horizontal lines only go through the y-axis, so you do y equal, and you go up here and grab whatever y is. But lots of times students don't catch it, so you can see you get the exact same answer by using the point slope formula. So the only time you wouldn't be able to use this is if the slope was undefined. If this had been 2 over 0, then you wouldn't have been able to do this. How do you put an undefined number there? Then you would have to know to write x equals whatever. So with a 0 slope, you can still use point slope form. But with undefined slope, you have to know to go straight to x equals, because it's a vertical line. Okay, let's do these last 3 and we'll be out of here. I sent you all an email, so make sure you look at that. It's about the quiz that's coming out on Thursday. I kind of just sent a mini schedule of what's going on the rest of the semester. We have 2 more quizzes, a test, and a final. So I gave you the dates so you could put them in your planner and be organized. I decided that's what's causing a lot of students to not pass. They need structure. They need someone to say, okay, every day at 11 o'clock, we need to do this. And so that's why I sent that out. I thought about that on my dog walk tonight. Students are lacking the structure. The older students, I've noticed the returning learners, got it. They know how to handle that. But the younger ones, I think they need a little hand up. Okay, so enough of my philosophy class. Let's go back to the math. So second y minus the first y, -7, over second x, -4, minus the first x, -2. So the reason we're finding slope again, remember, is because they're asking us to write an equation. And to write any equation in the whole world, you have to have a slope. So that's why we always start in. Just make sure you don't quit after this step, because the directions say find an equation. This is just called finding the slope. So -15, and that's going to be +7, and -4, and that's going to be +2. So that leaves us with a slope of, what is that, -8 over negative 2. Double negative in division is positive, so there's our slope of 4. So negative 15 plus 7, negative 8, negative 4 plus 2, negative 2. Double negative is a positive. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And now we're ready to go, and there's not really a nice point in that group. I guess this one has a little smaller number, so we'll do it. So we know we're going to be using point slope form because we don't have a y-intercept. None of the x-coordinates are 0. So let's write down our point slope form. So it will be y minus negative 7 equals m, which is 4x minus negative 2. So y minus negative 7 equals 4 times x minus negative 2. Looks good. Double negatives all over the place. Okay, so that's going to turn into y plus 7 equals 4x and then plus 8. So 4 times x, 4x times positive 2, positive 8, and then our last step, subtract our 7, and we get our answer, which is y equals 4x plus 1. That's a really nice one. I don't really like all those negatives, but it actually worked out nice, huh? Okay, 2 more to go. So if you want to do H and I on your own first and then check them with mine, that's great, because you should definitely be ready for that. I think these are both fractional ones. I put a fractional one on the test, so that's why I circled 2 fractions here. Okay, so let's get things moving. So m equals 3 minus 4 over negative 4 minus negative 2. So 3 minus 4 over negative 4 minus negative 2. So there's my double negative that needs to be positive. And it's looking like my slope's going to be what, 1/2? Negative 1 over negative 2 is positive 1/2. Just like over here, double negative is positive. Same thing here. It doesn't matter that they don't simplify. Still a positive. So don't leave that negative. So 3 minus 4, negative 1, negative 4 plus 2, negative 2, double negative, positive. So our slope is positive 1/2. And I think I like this one best. Evens are, for some reason, easier to handle. So y minus 4 equals 1/2 times x minus negative 2. So y minus 4 equals 1/2 x minus negative 2. We're good. Double negative again. Make that positive. And now we can distribute and be done. So y minus 4 equals 1/2. Remember, this is times x, and then a positive times a positive is plus, and you really don't need your calculator for this next one because it's said out loud, half of 2. Well, what's half of 2? 1. So whenever it's a half, I just say it in words, and then the answer's there. Half of 4, 2, half of 6, 3, half of 5, 2.5. So if you need to use your calculator, that's fine. But a positive times a positive, positive, positive times a positive. So 1/2 x plus half of 2, 1. And then one little last step there. Y equals 1/2 x plus 5. So if you haven't done one with a fraction yet on your own, I would definitely make sure you do I before we do it together, because you want to make sure you know how to do it before the test. So this is our last day on writing equations, so it's the last time you get to practice. Okay, so last problem, yes. So slope is second y minus the first y, 5, over the second x, negative 8, minus the first x, 4. So negative 4 minus 5, and then negative 8 minus 4. And this gives us negative 9 over negative 12. Cross that out there. And look at that, we have another fraction. It needs to be simplified, and I cannot leave that double negative just like up here. 2 negatives are positive. 2 negatives in division are positive. So that should probably be the first thing you do there, is make that positive. So negative 9 over negative 12 is positive. So 2 negatives in multiplication or division is positive. Then we can simplify. And so we get a nice simplified slope of 3/4. So that is our slope. So you always want to simplify slope before you plug it in. Otherwise you have big ugly numbers to work with and all kinds of negatives. So simplify first. Okay, now we're ready to go. So I'm going to pick this as my x1 and y1. Yay, no negatives. I love it when there's no negatives. So y minus 5 equals 3/4 parentheses x minus 4. So y minus 5 equals m 3/4 times x minus 4. This is going to be distributed, so I'm going to put my little times sign there when it comes time with the calculator. So then we get y minus 5 equals 3/4 times x is 3/4 x. A positive times a negative is negative. So let's do 3/4 times negative 4. So 3 fraction bar 4 times negative 4 is negative 3. We already got our negative sign there, so positive times a negative, negative, and we got negative 3. And you can see that. You can see the 4s are going to cancel. And last but not least, add your 5. So y equals 3/4 x. 5 minus 3 would be positive 2. So there is our final answer. Y equals 3/4 x plus 2. So 5 minus 3. So this is our weekend, guys. Make sure you finish your pie and make sure that you take your quiz. The quiz is open till, it's in the email that I sent you, Sunday at midnight. So I guess your pie and your quiz will both be due. Okay, but it's all in the email. See ya. Have a great weekend.